Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Channel 14. This is part 2 of the series, How to Become an Audiobook Narrator. Notice that I didn't title this series, How to Narrate Audiobooks, because I'm not going to give you skills or tips very much on how to narrate. The title of the series is How to Become an Audiobook Narrator. I want to show you the things that other videos aren't showing you. Some of the behind-the-scenes things that I learned in the first year of how to find the resources you need, use them, get jobs, navigate through the business rather than focusing on how to do the narration. With that said, let's get right into it. And of course, just like in high school, we're going to start with the review of the homework. How'd you do last week? Did you get on LibriVox? Hopefully at least you got on LibriVox and created yourself a user ID. And if you got the full assignment done, you performed your 1-minute test, you uploaded it, you got some feedback one way or the other, either an acceptance or some suggestions on what to do better. If you're an overachiever, you might have already found a book or another project to work on, and you're doing some recording there. Congratulations if that's the case. If you struggled, that's all right. It's understandable. This is tough to break into. It's hard to get used to. So today, we're going to break it down a little bit. I'm going to go through step by step of recording your 1-minute test. And maybe we'll look a little bit at actually recording a section in an audiobook as well to give you a little heads up. And then we'll talk about ACX specifically at the end of the video. All right, so here we are again at the LibriVox homepage. We're going to work on our 1-minute test upload. So we're going to go to the forum. It should log you in if you've been here before and if you enabled Remember Me. If not, get logged in. We're going to go to what is LibriVox and FAQ. Scroll all the way down to the volunteering topic. We're going to do the 1-minute test. Once we have all our specs set to meet their requirements, I'll do the recording. This is what they recommend, or something similar to it. Now, I've pre-recorded mine, so let's switch over to Audacity. And what I have here is my actual 1-minute test from the first time I submitted it to LibriVox. It is incredibly different from the sound and the quality that I have now. And since you've recorded yours and hopefully put it out there for people to hear, I'm going to let you or make you listen to mine just to be fair. So here we go.
People were pleased to find that Peter Piper had picked a couple of pages for Fable fans at LibriVox. Thankful that this was Thursday the 30th, the Piper anticipated forum fun and a wonderful weekend of recording. This is a test by Russell Eric. Had it been an actual LibriVox contribution, it would have been a public domain text, previously published, and probably interesting.
And we'll let it run to the end just to make sure we get all the little noises at the end there for you, the mouse clicks and mouth clicks and all that type of thing. So there we have the recording. Back to the LibriVox website, let's find out what we need to do with it. I have a recording. The waveform looks similar to that. Some hints here, the checker program that you may want to use to make sure that you're within acceptable ranges for your decibels and so forth. Listen to it through your headphones. Now they talk about background noise here, and that's going to be an issue throughout your recording career. It's best in every instance as you move forward to take care of things before you record and not after you record. Fix the source. Don't try to fix it in post. Now that being said, there are some things as you begin that you'll need to do in post that you don't want to make habits. Noise reduction, especially within Audacity, is one of those things. It's great at the beginning, but it very quickly can ruin a recording quality. So use it now if you need to, but avoid it as much as possible. Next in Audacity is to export your file in MP3 format as test _ and your forum name. My forum name was Russell Eric. They want no spaces. They want no uppercase. Now let's take a look at the uploader. These are your credentials to upload. So if I were going to go through the process, go to the uploader page, and we'll remember that because we're going to be back here. Your MC If it's a project, you want to pick this. Again, this is in the magic window. If this is a test, your 1-minute test, you will select that, select your file, and start the upload. I'm not going to upload mine here because it's uploaded there already. There's no point for me to put it back there. When that's done, you'll get a confirmation down here that says it's completed. It will give you a link, a URL for this file on their server. So highlight that, not this file name, highlight the URL that they give you, copy it, and you're going to use that back on the previous page. All right, so we've exported our recording. We've uploaded it to LibriVox. Now I'm going to come back into the LibriVox forum. What's left? Once you've done the upload, here's your next step. Copy the link. We did that. Post it in the Listeners and Editors Wanted forum. Okay. Head back into the forum to the beginning page. Listeners and Editors Wanted. And as you look through this, here you'll see another 1-minute test that has soon come in. Maybe this is one of you. Paul here has included some specifics about how the recording was done. Someone has listened to it, and everything is great for this particular person. They're ready to proceed. And that will be you shortly as you go through this process. So congratulations. Let's take a look at this once for uploading into a project. My project that I'm working on is fully booked with readers. So I'll go to Readers Found to find my project. It's called Zara. So I'm going to search for Zara. Go into the project. I'll go to the first screen, which will have the first message, which includes all the pertinent information and the magic window, as well as what I need to upload it. Here, I've already done this in my recordings. The right beginning, the right ends, a little bit of silence. Let's take a look at this silence to make sure that you're getting that set up. Now in Audacity here, I've loaded up my recording from Zara, the book that I'm working on. This is a long section, 40 minutes or so. Most sections are not this long. You can choose a long one or a short one as you go through it. As you get more comfortable with it, your recordings will get longer in length. But I want to look specifically at the beginning and ending silence. So we're going to zoom in a bunch, come down here and look at the beginning. You'll see there's much more than is necessary. It's very simple in Audacity. These marks are seconds. So here in Audacity, I want about half a second. I'm just going to highlight everything there I want to get rid of, hit the delete key. And now when I look at the 1 second mark, I have more than half a second, less than a full second of silence at the beginning. So we're clear there. Let's go to the end of the project. An easy way to do it is to delete all the silence you have. And this is handy to make sure you don't have any little mouth clicks or something hanging out at the end. Highlight everything at the end and delete what you can see. Come up to Generate, Silence, and add in 1 to 5 seconds of silence at the end. I generally do 3 seconds to be somewhere in the middle. And now in Audacity, I've got my beginning and end silence taken care of. Now, as you progress in your career as an audiobook narrator, one of the very important things is getting your decibel levels correct for the various platforms. Let me give you 2 simple steps that will work for most of your settings if you follow them every time. 2 things you want to do. First of all, under Effect, Compressor. Now, just at this point, just note these settings, and I suggest copying them, and you may have to make some adjustments, but these will probably work pretty well for most narrations. Whether you're speaking very loudly or very softly, this will take care of a lot of things. Your threshold, -28, your noise floor, -45. Ratio, those might change. Your ratio should probably stick at 4:1, just because it's narration, that's pretty common. Set a fast attack time and a fast release time. 0.2 for attack, 1 second for release. And then all we're going to do is click OK. Now watch what happens to the waveform as this processes. It's going to take what is kind of a quiet file with some highs and lows in it. and it's going to amplify it and level it out some to give me a better overall sound. Notice there's still some high peaks in there that would be problematic as we go through it. But this has much better level than it had a minute ago. We'll get later on in the series into the specifics on compression and what it does. But for now, use those settings. Here's another one. I wouldn't normally do this, but here's another. I'm going to go ahead and give you the cheat for it, and we'll explain the why later on. The next thing to do is to normalize. Most platforms tell you to normalize to no higher than -3 decibels. I like to go to 3.1 because ACX can be pretty picky about that. Even if you have a peak at 3.0, sometimes they'll reject it. So I set it to -3.1 to be a little bit below, and it passes the vast majority of the time. So that's the only setting you need to make here. Tell it OK. And now what we have is a normalized, compressed file with silences at the beginning, at the end, that give me a nice, steady listening experience and still meet all the technical requirements. So we have that. Now I will export it. File, export as MP3. Don't forget, LibriVox likes 128. A constant bit rate, joint stereo. You could do mono. I leave it at joint stereo. And name it appropriately. You get that from the magic window and export it, which I'm not going to do because I already did that. Once that's done, let's jump back to LibriVox, and I'll go through the same process. Go to the upload screen. LibriVox is my username, the super secret password. Make sure you know your MC, which is Lynette, and from there, it's straightforward. Upload that, and you've got your first project section done for an actual book. Congratulations again. I know that's a little bit of repeat from last week, but we'll have to hang in with a good bit of homework. So that's the process. If I wasn't clear somewhere, if what I said didn't make sense, if you're not sure of what to do, the best thing for you to do is just to dig in and figure it out. There's a lot of that going on in this business. And if you struggle with getting this 1-minute test completed and done the way it needs to be done, you should really think about moving forward in the business, because it's a lot of what it is. There are very specific specs that need to be met, and this is the process. Now, after LibriVox, what happens? Well, you've got your homework for this week. To move further in LibriVox, get used to hearing your voice, doing the editing, working in Audacity, and getting those things further along, building up your skills there. While you're doing that, I want you to go to acx.com and create a profile as an audiobook producer. Make sure you're going in as a producer, unless you're also an author, but then you want 2 profiles. So acx.com, create yourself a profile as an audiobook producer, and fill out the profile, put in any links you have if you got a website or a blog and so forth. Get the profile filled out, and next week we'll take a look at working somewhat within ACX and moving forward. Thanks. Have a great one. Feel free to leave a comment below, and we'll see you at the next episode.